Yeah, no, absolutely. So you made a conscious effort to reduce phytoestrogen exposure, which is, by the way, very, very difficult to do because it's everywhere. How about the converse of that? So not just reducing your estrogen, but consciously and deliberately
Hmm.
trying to increase your testosterone, because we know that's almost half in the last 40 years. So we hear all sorts of things: semen retention, cold showers, red meat, intermittent fasting. So have you been on that protocol yourself, the Huberman protocol, and how have you found it, or have you kind of just been happy with the estrogen minimization?
Yeah, good question. My opinion on this is that we're men. We have the natural ability to produce decent amounts of testosterone. Something has happened in the last. I didn't realize if it's a 40% drop over the last 40 years. You said that's pretty significant.
Yes.
Some of most likely the first thing I always look at is like, where are the holes in the bucket before I start adding new things in. How can I stop damaging myself first? And if you see a patient who's like, how can I optimize my health, but they're smoking and drinking and overeating, you'd be like, well, stop doing those things first, and then we can look at the things to take you from healthy to optimal. So for me, the estrogen elimination was a big one. I don't smoke cannabis or drink alcohol or anything, but both of those are pretty detrimental to testosterone production. Um, and then the other thing, which I picked up from Anthony J, he's a PhD in estrogen. He wrote a book called Estrogeneration. He mentioned that actually building muscle, aside from all the other kind of benefits that we would typically talk about, he says that they act as a buffer for xenoestrogens, and that they kind of sweep up excess artificial estrogens in the body, which I'd never heard of. But so it sounds like all of these things create a bit of a virtuous cycle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Outside of that, in terms of taking testosterone above the, or to the high end, or to above the normal levels, I think Asif's your man. I'm out of my depth from a one beyond that point.
Yeah. So testosterone has declined precipitously over the last, 1.5 generations, and our natural tendency is to increase till our mid to late 20s, plateau till your mid to late 30s, and then decline by about 10% per decade after 40. But we're seeing now the peak being much less and the decline being much, more precipitous. Decline being in your late 20s as opposed to in your mid 30s. You should be plateauing, but we're seeing a massive, a very quick trough